Welcome to Transparent with Tina. I am Tina Marks, your host, and my guest today is a certified holistic nutritionist and a lifestyle cleanse expert. Welcome, Elissa.
Thank you, Tina. I'm honored to be here. I
I'm
was
honored
very
to have
excited
you.
about this.
It's so interesting. Before we get into your backstory and everything that you do, I've got to say, I've never met you before. We've had very little interaction. I believe in the universe bringing me people and synchronicity and all that. And, I found you I rarely scroll through Instagram, but I did. And your page, I've got to tell you, it caught my eye. It's so colorful. And the first time I stopped, I just looked at you and I went, that woman is glowing. Swear on my son's life. And I was like looking at you going like the whites of your eyes are so white, and you every post has got like, it's like a lot of colors around it. So that's how I found you. And I started reading, and then I was like, I could not believe your age. I was like, and that just was like, and wait till we get into this, because you and I have so much in common. All right. So
Yeah.
your backstory. So you were diagnosed with cancer at 32. Shortly
Yes.
after that, you were diagnosed with hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, and celiac disease, which I had
Yes.
too. So I can,
Yep. Hmm.
um, and then your husband got cancer as
11
well.
and a half years after my diagnosis, he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I had
And
non, he had Hodgkin's. Why do I
what's
always
the difference between those two? That's what I thought I read. Yeah.
It's just different forms of lymphoma.
Uh-huh.
So, and depending on, there's multiple strains of Hodgkin's lymphoma,
Hmm.
non-Hodgkin's and there's just one form of Hodgkin's. So
And that's cancer of the
lymphatic system.
lymphatic system.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. So you decided to go the holistic way.
Hmm.
Your doctors wanted you to do chemo, correct?
Chemo, radiation, freeze
All
my eggs, the whole, even when I was being staged, the doctors are like, do you have a donor? Because you might have to have a, donor transplant. It was crazy how they take you down the rabbit hole. Yeah. And then I got lucky.
so tell me how and why you made that decision not to do that, because everybody probably thought you were crazy.
Yeah, they did. And
Okay.
a lot of them didn't speak to me. They were scared shitless too of, what was going to happen to me. But at the end of the day, my stage was an early stage.
Uh-huh.
So that also was in my
Yeah.
benefit.
Right.
And I had gone to see this third doctor's opinion at St. John's in Santa Monica. And he was an Asian radiologist. And he sat me down and looked at my scans and basically said early stage, and said, what's going on in your life? Are you stressed? Are you happy? Are you
Hmm.
happily married? Do you love your job? He asked me all these personal questions. What was going on in your life prior to the diagnosis? And I was like, wow, no one has asked me that except for a therapist, of course.
Right.
And
Right.
I was like, I don't even know what happy is. Like, I was so stressed just living my life in the fast lane and living in fight or flight mode and trying to make money and buy a house and have kids. And, I just had no idea what not being stressed. I lived my life always stressed, and I felt like I
That was
got
your
shit
normal.
done
That
because I
was
was
your
stressed.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
And
now
he
we're,
said,
go
to
ahead.
me, he goes, we can like get your mind straight. We need to calm down your central nervous system. You could get past this. He's not saying not do treatment, but he just said that a lot of this is caused, and that was such an early stage of 30 years ago to say that, of the stress and the sleep and the,
Yeah.
basically not being happy.
He was way behind his years,
Yeah,
because beyond his years, because yeah, anybody from St. John, I would never even, especially 30 years ago, especially
I
30
know.
years ago.
I know.
I had, so that was again, the universe coming into play, because what are the odds of that, right?
Mhm.
When I got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2011, I had just written my first book, which was called The Domino Effect, Fear versus Faith,
Okay.
right? And they wanted me to do radiation and then follow up with a drug called tamoxifen. When you read
Right.
up on it, the first thing it says is it's a carcinogen.
Yeah.
So I was completely in faith, and I was just like, this doesn't resonate with me. And immediately after that, I was seriously led to 3 books. One was Dr. Robert Young's The Alkaline, the pH Miracle
Yeah.
Diet.
Mhm.
So I did that. And then I read Dr. Gundry's book too, and I added a little bit of that. But seriously, that's all I did. I started eating 80% alkaline, 20% acidic. And
Right.
that I've been cancer free since 2011, and
Oh,
I'm so grateful.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. But it's the same thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when people hear the C word, and I remember saying, because a friend of mine got breast cancer, was 10 years younger than me after that. She's, no, no, no. If that was true, my doctor would tell me. But here's what people don't know. Doctors only get maybe 45 minutes of nutritional training in their medical career. So, they wouldn't know, right?
And they know nothing about stress and lifestyle, and they don't tap into that. They don't really tap into to their patients. They don't have time to ask the patients what's going on in their life, either.
Right. And they also don't know because they're not trained on nutrition.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows, food in a box is not going to be good for you, but we're going to take it a step forward. And this is a lot of what we're going to be talking about today, because you and I I just can't believe our stories are so identical. So, and then your husband, unfortunately, made a different choice, right?
Yeah.
And he
Yes.
did go that way. And he passed away, a year and a half later?
A year and a half later, after diagnosis. He was 45. He was 43 and a half. He died at 45 at such a young age. And he did 2 bone marrow transplants in a year and a half. So he didn't really die from cancer. He died from fungal pneumonia because his immune system was compromised.
Because of the chemo. See, people don't put that together. They go, oh, it saved my life. And then 5 years later, they die of something else. They don't connect the dots.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yes, it kills the bad stuff, but it kills the good stuff. So wouldn't it make more sense to strengthen the immune system than kill the immune system and try revive it? Right? Which
Absolutely.
is exactly.
Yeah.
So
you're way behind the 8 ball when you do chemo. You're so
your age, Yeah. And especially at our age now. I mean, at 30, you probably could have handled it. So what did you do? What was your protocol to get rid of the cancer?
Yes. So I dove into juicing. I started, juice. There was a juice place down the street from me, which was lucky. I had moved from New York to LA. So, and there was, it was Mrs. Gucci's at the time. So there was fresh produce, and started eating vegan and plant-based. And I started doing yoga and hiking, and also doing colonics. I went to naturopaths. I went into dove into the holistic arena, which I absolutely love. And, but I did do half the radiation they recommended because of my family, and the people around me were so freaking out that I wasn't going to do anything. I had to please them. I wish I hadn't, because that's why I got the Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism was from the radiation. They radiated my thyroid. So
that's how you got that.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my. Okay. So now it all comes from full circle.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the cancer was gone. How soon after that?
I was cancer free, right after the radiation was done. Okay. And, nothing's ever come back, knock on wood, and thank God. But growing up, I was not a healthy kid. I always got sick. Everything anybody that was sick around me, I was always sick. I had a low white blood cell count when I was born. I had to get blood shots. There was a lot of stuff going on with me. And I knew the chemo was just not right for me, because I never felt well. I never felt energized. I was always worried about getting sick, and I labeled myself a sick kid or a sick person, so all of that also downregulated my immune system, as I learned later in my life, that because I was living that way.
Said it. You kept saying, I'm sick. I'm sick. Your body, your brain is always listening, as Dr. Amen says, right? I don't know if you're familiar with him. He wrote a book on that, and it's so true. Yeah. And, I want to talk about this a little bit too, because, obviously, so you were saying you're burning the candle at both ends. You're trying to, then you have the trauma of not you, then your husband, and people don't, I think, they don't understand that this is such a precursor to cancer, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
when I read Dr. Young's book, he said, you know, everything I was doing, the stress, under eating, you know, I'd skip meals, over
Yeah.
exercising, overdoing everything. And then once, you know, we're not machines. I say this to my client, we are not machines.
Right.
And
Right.
so we have to understand that, and we have to put the self-care back in. So let's just go here for a minute. I know we got a lot to talk about, but I just go exactly where the conversation is going, because, you know, I just did a breath work session last night,
Oh, wow. I
and
love those.
for 2 hours, you know, with 200 people in the room. And I did a intensive thing. So I've done 4 of these in like a month and a half. And I cannot tell you how that has shifted me, because we have all these emotions and traumas and stress and everything in our body, unless we have healthy ways like doing the breathing exercise, having our energy cleared, you know, eating the right foods, listening to the right things. I'm in the sound frequencies, right? All of it, you know, unless we do that to move the energy gets stuck and stale. And that's what causes physical disease, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we
So
are so disconnected, you know, our head is here, our body is here. We're not really connected. So all of those things do help you get reconnected. But I think our central nervous system is just like overstimulated, working overtime. You know, we're in a sympathetic nervous system response, not a parasympathetic. So yeah, it's not good how we're all living and how we were trained and taught to live. That's how we were taught. We weren't taught to meditate or take time out and take a nap in the afternoon, or, you know, there wasn't like all that breath work. I love breath work. That's been a lifesaver for me as well. And I've done plant journeys just to like really clear the energy and also clear my past traumas.
I want to talk to you about that, because I want to do that. I'm ready for that. You know, I really am. I feel like I'm ready for that. And, you know, you were just saying something, and I just, let's see.
Well, I was going to say one of my favorite cancer books is Radical Remission. And she also wrote a book called Radical Hope. Have you heard of Kelly Turner? So she did her PhD, and she has 2 fabulous books out. Radical Remission, she interviewed stage 4 cancer cases, and they healed holistically. So they didn't do Western meds. And so she came up with all modalities of how they healed. It's such a beautiful book. It's like a hopeful book. I mean, cancer is really the word, and how the medical community treats us. You know, when you have cancer and a cancer diagnosis, it really is crazy, you know, in terms of the fear that they put into you. So basically, these people really changed their like stress and their emotional well-being, and, you know, really had to fall in love with themselves, you know, really get planted in honoring who they are and taking care of themselves. They were like 7 modalities were all about stress and emotional well-being. And the 8th one was food. The 9th one was supplements. And the 10th one was exercise.
You know, outside of the stress, maybe not eating well, not exercising, all that, I think the worst is the self-hatred. You know, and, you know, I turned 60 in November, and it was just like I was brought to my knees. I had been feeling, well, it was prior to that, but it was just like this huge opening. I mean, I was having a lot of anxiety. I was having a lot of depression. I found out that I had celiac. I had leaky gut, and then 2 more things. And most people don't know this, but so I was experiencing a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. Like, I didn't want to leave my room. I wake up on a Saturday. I didn't have any plans. I didn't have to be anywhere. And I'm filled with anxiety. Well, what I learned is that, you know, your gut produces 95% of the serotonin and dopamine. Everybody thinks it's your brain. It's not. So if your gut is not healthy, which we're going to go into with the foods and everything, then that's what caused it. And you used a word earlier. You said, you know, I didn't know what would make me happy, and I felt detached. And I think that is the catalyst right there, because, you know, we're so busy. We're living in our sympathetic nerve. It's actually the gamma brain is what it is. The gamma and the beta brain. Those are the conscious mind. What we really want to live in is the alpha and the theta, and that's the subconscious mind. That's the meditative mind. I'm getting certified right now on how to be living in flow all the time, like living in the zone.
Yeah.
And I'm actually like living it, and it's crazy. It's like, who would ever want to live that other life? Because when 60 came and then I became an empty nester, all this happened at once. And I was like, who am I? Who
Yeah.
am I if I'm not doing a podcast? Who am I if I'm not a coach? Who am I if I'm not that was a big one when my son moved out. I've been a single mom since he was 5.5 months old. So, this is and exactly what you said too, that we've been taught the opposite. Taking a nap, that's luxury. You don't do that. No, you work hard. You work as many hours as you need to, or 2 or 3 jobs or whatever. This is why our society is in the position it's in. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to go into your cleanse and everything first, but let's go into some aging hacks.
Okay. I love that. That's my favorite part, the favorite thing to talk about, because I'm 63, 3 years older than you, a little bit. And I have never felt better in my entire life. Like I feel better than I did in my 30s. And like, so crazy.
Yeah.
More energy, more clarity.
Look better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have more wisdom and have more challenge. I've overcome more challenges. So of course that helps. But just in like being able to really have really true self-love for myself and knowing what calm feels like and getting out of that place that I'm labeling myself, a sick person or could get some other illnesses. Probably will, but I don't want to live there. It's been game changing, plus the food, plus the sleep and, just.
Sleep. Yes. Yeah. And
sleep
when you have anxiety and you have depression, I would wake up at 1 a.m. racing and I would be up the whole night and then I'd have to do calls all the next day. I'm like a zombie. Yeah. So
that's awful.
Yes.
That's happening to a lot of us, that's becoming more and more of something that most people are dealing with. The sleep and just having, anxiety and not being able to really, we go through the day, but we don't take time throughout the day to chill ourselves out so we can go to bed at night, but we're just, racing through the day and then we expect our body to just calm down and go to bed. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And, I'm guilty of it. I watch I'll watch my TV, to relaxing. But they say you really shouldn't have that on for like 45 minutes before you go to bed, So, and also I did unplug your router. It's like, with all this knowledge, it's like with all these things to do, honestly, to stay healthy, I'm like, it's surprising I can get anything else done.
I kind of think the same way, like with the juicing and the, making sure I get enough protein and the sleep and then the yoga and the meditation and then my aura ring and the
so I was just going to ask you that
crystals.
Aura ring. So you believe in that, right?
Yeah.
My brother has one too. Said that in case anybody doesn't know what that is, it's a ring that you wear and it tracks your sleep.
Yes.
But you know what? But this is a question I have for you. So let's say you've done horribly the night before. Mm-hmm. Aren't you going to sit there, go beat yourself up? I don't know. Do you want to watch the stock market every day?
Nope. And I agree with you. Like when I know I've had a bad night's sleep, I will not look at the ring. It will depress me. Yes. Yeah. So it's a good and a bad thing. It's not always a great thing.
No, it could be psychosomatic, right? Yeah. It could actually work against you.
Totally.
All right. I need some aging hacks.
So I would say, some really simple aging hacks are, of course, the first thing is, falling back in love with yourself or actually truly having a sense of, honoring who you are and that you're important, that you belong here and, you're doing great things in the world, whatever you're doing. So that's huge. And then I would say, my hydration is massive. So we have a dehydrated society. We have an epidemic going on. We don't have enough minerals in our soil and our food, and we're not absorbing minerals so that we absorb the water into our cells. So we're just drinking all this beautiful water potentially, and we're just peeing it out. So we're very dehydrated. So that also raises our cortisol, adrenaline. We're hungry maybe when we're dehydrated. Women
That's true. Sometimes you think you're hungry, and if you just drink a glass, you're really not hungry. You're thirsty. So drink a glass. I'm getting in the habit of doing that before I eat, anyways.
Yes. So 94 ounces for women. I think it's 124 for men. It's not half your body weight, really.
That's what I thought, in ounces. Half your body weight in ounces. So
it's 94 ounces for women and about 124 for men. Every client that
94
doesn't
ounces.
even get near to 94 ounces, you know?
How many
So
for men?
I think it's 124.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I use a mineral powder. There's a lot of great mineral powders out there. There's electrolyte. I use Ultima Replenisher. I've been using it for like 8 years, and it has magnesium, manganese, potassium, sodium, zinc, has vitamin C. It has great minerals that help the water go into your cells, and it curbs your appetite. It gives you energy. I think that has been a home run. I do that every day. I dilute it because it has a little stevia in it, but I do try to get to that 94 ounces. My juice is usually like 16, 20 ounces.
So that counts as water?
That does, because it's not it's hydrating, because
Oh,
it's
okay.
like
So my
just
celery
greens.
juice counts as
Yeah,
water.
it would
Okay,
count as a smoothie without, a lot of sugar would count. A soup would count. Those things are hydrating. It's just when you're doing caffeine, animal
oh,
protein
okay.
can
And I'll do
dehydrate
aloe
you.
vera and I'll put
Yeah,
my vitamin D. That's okay.
that's hydrating.
I'm doing better than I thought.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
exactly.
you know who Dr. Daryl Geoffrey is?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's got an amazing mineral one too. That's the one I do. And it's
Oh.
one tiny little scoop. It's got all that. And he actually just came out with a magnesium pill too. So he's sending that to me, but he just got that too.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. The
Yeah.
minerals are very, very important.
Very important. And they also calm your central nervous system down. They help with that. So
So
it's
does the
really
ashwagandha.
ashwagandha is an adaptogen. So I've never really had, honestly, a lot of luck with ashwagandha, but I know it's pretty rampant out there, and a lot of doctors and functional doctors and everybody are talking about it. I mean, I've had luck with holy basil. It's Tulsi tea. TULSI, that you put a tea bag into a cup, like, I'm drinking it now, into 8 ounces of water. It's a gram of Tulsi, and holy basil is the queen of adaptogens. It's the top.
Really?
I've had such luck with that because it will adapt to your stress throughout the day. If you're hyper, it'll calm you down, and if you're low energy, it'll bring you up.
And it's just a tea.
Yeah, it's pills too, but you can't get enough of in the capsule. So the tea is beautiful because it tastes like iced tea. It tastes like tea.
Okay.
So I love that. I love it.
Yeah, I can do that.
I love adaptogens. I mean, so I would say hydration. My juice is probably a home run. I've been juicing 30 years. So I do cucumber, celery, lemon, ginger, parsley, cilantro a lot of times. And I drink that almost 5 days a week, not probably 7. But
cucumber, celery, cilantro,
parsley, lemon, and ginger.
Lemon and ginger. I do lemon and ginger every morning with my water. Okay. Yeah.
And
that does sound good.
It's filled with minerals, lots of vitamins. I mean, it's super hydrating. It also lowers inflammation in your gut and your intestines. And it's like, I think that's a home run for my anti-aging hacks. One of them. Hydration, the juice. I try to get clients to do 8 to 10 cups of vegetables a day. So I'm getting probably 4 or 5 in that juice.
You know what? I used to live on vegetables. I love vegetables. I used to be a vegetarian. The older I get, I have gut issues. I still do. Yeah. And it's hard on my gut. If I eat too many vegetables, especially if I eat it at like a big salad at night, I pay for it. So, and are you a vegetarian or a vegan?
No.
You're not. Okay. So do you believe in eating meat and poultry and fish? Yes.
Everything. I just don't eat like cow dairy and sugar, and I try to watch my gluten, but I eat everything.
Yeah, I'm highly allergic to gluten, but I just wondered if you, because the big rage is like carnivore, right? I'm like, I just don't think eating meat all day long can be good for you, right? For your digestive, right?
Or keto, which is fat and animal, like if protein. I mean,
used at this point. What do you think about intermittent fasting?
I love it, but not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Like, there are definitely clients I talk to, their adrenals are taxed, they have blood sugar issues. I don't advise them to do it. So if you're in fairly good shape and health, then I think it's fabulous, because I think our digestive system needs that break. We are constantly eating. And I don't know if you know, but it takes about 14 hours for animal protein, cow dairy, to go through your small intestine, and 90 minutes for a plant-based meal.
Interesting. So you eat like what portion of your meal? 3/4?
I would say no. I would say like a quarter is animal when I do the animal. I would say
Okay.
a half is like non-starchy leafy greens, and a quarter is probably starchy, complex carbs is kind of my perfect meal.
Right. Exactly. And always antibiotic free,
Yeah,
grass fed. People
I
don't
try.
understand that. Oh, well, no, think about it for a moment. You're ingesting that, you
I know.
know?
I
It's
know.
always the way the animal is. I don't want to go
Yeah.
that far
It's
down
hard
that.
when you though eat out. It's really hard.
I,
The bad seed oils and the crappy stuff, the cheap stuff they use in the food. So that is hard. But if at home, if you're really good and religious about it,
yeah, you
then
know
it,
what's going into it. But
yeah,
you know what? I even feel when I go out and I order, let's say, piece of fish or this or that, I almost feel like it's a cheap meal because I don't know what's in it.
yeah, true. That's
Right?
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You have to be very careful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I would say so. I would say the vegetables are a key. I'm a huge gut girl. So, I'm always working on my gut. Right now, I've been taking colostrum, the bovine
That's what
colostrum.
I started. That's where I found you too. Remember,
Okay.
yeah, I've been taking it, and
Oh my
you never
God.
got back to me. What is the brand that you use?
Oh yeah, Raw Revelations is what I've been using.
Okay,
There is one all over Instagram right now called Amra, but
I've
I
seen. Yeah,
love Raw Revelations, and I have to tell you, my skin, my hair, my nails have never been better, and it's been about 6 months, 7 months taking the colostrum. I used to have a little bit of eczema on my fingers.
yeah,
And I was always embarrassed by it because I'm a nutritionist. I know what to do. I should know how to get rid of eczema, and it never went away. And then I started the colostrum, and it went away. So I have
yeah,
no eczema.
yeah. Well, I mean, you are living proof. I mean, whatever you say you're taking, I'm taking.
I know that gets a little dangerous because
I
I
told you,
do.
I found you. I'm like, what? And like you said, and I
Yeah,
started watching. That was the first video I watched was when you were talking about it. I'm like, I'm writing it down. I got to
yeah.
get this.
I
Um,
do. I take probiotics. I eat probiotic foods.
yes.
I've always been, I always try, I do like a stool sample once a year to see what's going on in my gut to lower any pathogen loads. I'm constantly working on clients, lowering their viral, bacterial, and fungal loads in their gut. We have a gut cleanse that we do here in Los Angeles, and on it is activated charcoal for 5 days, which is really good for lowering bacteria and resetting your gut.
I thought that
So
was for diarrhea.
yeah, no, it's for lowering bacteria in your gut. So it's great. I
Really?
mean, if you have diarrhea, you might have a bacteria infection going on or some kind of, but it is fantastic for lowering, like resetting your gut
Okay,
just
so
for
let's
5 days.
talk. Yeah. What's that?
Just for 5 days. You only need to do it for 5 days.
For 5 days. Okay. Well, what's
Yeah.
this 7-day reset cleanse?
So that I put together years ago because I've been doing for 9 years I cook and deliver a cleanse here in Los Angeles. And every week, and people outside of Los Angeles were asking me like for recipes, and I can't get your cleanse because you won't ship it. So I put the 7-day reset together so that they can get the recipes from the cleanse and cook them themselves and be able to maybe somewhat do the cleanse or sort of have healthy recipes and healthy tips on what we do.
Yeah, I just did a 3-day gut cleanse too myself. If you eat well anyways, it was fine. I wasn't really hungry. I was just like,
Right.
this isn't just a lot of fun. I mean, it's not very
Yeah.
social or anything else. So that one is the actual, that's the recipe, correct?
Yeah, that's the one that people cook and, prepare
Okay.
themselves. And then we have two here in Los Angeles, the gut cleanse and a regular cleanse, which is both. And then we have a 3-day. So both of, the gut cleanse and the regular can be 3 days as well, but we have 5 days. So we do that. And then we're coming out. I'm doing one with a functional naturopath, Dr. Nigma Talib, who's fantastic. She's my doctor, and we're coming out with a SIBO cleanse, one that can really reset.
That's the one I had. That I had SIBO too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's a low FODMAP, and yeah, it's like a hardcore. We have a whole formula she's created to lower, the fungal bacterial in the intestines as well. And then we're going to just rebuild people, with low FODMAP foods, as well as with soups and smoothies. And, they will get, if they want, some animal protein on it as well, just to make sure they're satiated.
Right.
And then they'll be loaded up with probiotics. So
I want to
very
ask
good.
you a question. What do you feel about mushrooms? I mean, I know there's a lot of benefits in mushrooms, but
Yeah.
if you have gut issues, it can be a
Yeah.
little tricky.
It can be a
right?
problem. Right.
Yeah. Like
I love them. I mean, the
I
one
was
that I,
like, I can't drink kombucha anymore. And I used to I was drinking like 1 or 2 a day.
right.
And he said, no, you can't drink that anymore.
So I mean, I love reishi. We have a reishi latte on our cleanse.
Okay.
I love that because it's so calming again. And I love lion's mane right now. I take lion's mane every day. I think it's like a home run for cognitive function, also for like relieving stress. It's great for sleep as well. So I do agree with you. If you have fungal yeast stuff going on in your gut, mushrooms are tricky.
Yeah, yeah, because they're making a lot of these drinks now. There was like
I know.
mud water. I've got
They're all the rage.
it's the big niche. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so tell us about the EG Kitchen Cleanse. This is where you're actually prepping, making the foods for people, right? So tell us.
Yes. So how it came about, just in a nutshell, is I graduated from my certified program from Eastern and Western Medicine, and Cafe Gratitude hired me to put their cleanse together for them years ago. So I did a 5-day raw vegan cleanse for them. They did the food, but I just put all the marketing and the food together. And I handheld the cleansers while they were cleansing. Then M Cafe, it's a macrobiotic restaurant in Los Angeles, hired me to do theirs. So both of those I did for like 6.5 years. I did one at Erewhon for a very short period of time. I did some food for Earth Bar. So it then at the time, my assistant's like, why aren't we doing our own? It just seemed like, so we love soup. And we decided to start doing a soup cleanse, is what it was called in the beginning. And it still has the same tonic on it. It's a probiotic tonic with the coconut kefir, apple cider vinegar, aloe vera, lemon, ginger, cayenne, and some extra probiotics as well, Mary Ruth's liquid probiotics. Then we have a homemade super seed bar we've been doing for years as well. Now we have salads.
These are on your website, the seed, the granola, and the seed bar. Okay. Yeah,
exactly. Now we have 5 salads, 5 different salad dressings in the week, and we have fermented veggies in the afternoon, and we have different soups every night. Right now in the summer, we do a chamomile tea and a hibiscus tea, and then we give them digestive enzymes. We give them magnesium to help them, clean out. So because there are a lot of legumes and beans and a little bit of grains on the cleanse, just when people go from animal protein and jump into a plant-based program, it can be rough. And then also we do have a homemade chicken bone broth too. We do vegan and regular. So yeah, I love that.
Do you believe in the bone broth? I've heard a lot about that too. Yeah. So you do the
vegan? I do, but again, it can be an issue if you have histamine responses, So if you have a histamine response, bone broth can really disturb you. So some of this stuff.
What would be a histamine response? Like nasal?
It's really gut. It's a gut issue, or it's really where foods, you're responding to them in not a beneficial way. So whatever you're eating is not agreeing with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you take anything do you know what NAD is?
NAD? NAD. Yes. Yes. Okay. That is one of my anti-aging hacks. I give myself NAD injections every day.
Okay. Well, listen, there's a new company out there that they have patches.
So you don't have to go.
Yeah. And they just sent them to me. And I've been on them for the last couple of days. They're so easy.
Oh my God. Because I'm definitely tired of giving myself shots.
That's why they came out with it, or going in there. And my doctor was giving himself shots too. Yeah. So I'll give you that information. Yeah. So you're up on all that. I mean, we could get
I love that. I do peptides. I do the BPC 157 for the gut.
That's what my brother I think that too. Yeah.
And last year.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got COVID for the first time. And I also, my antibodies came back. So, because I have, Epstein-Barr and the Hashimoto's. And when I got COVID, my antibodies came back. I felt so awful. I went and did ozone. So, where they take your blood and oxygenate it and put it back in you. And after 4 sessions of the ozone, I felt like a different person. So anybody who has long COVID symptoms, if there is availability to investigate ozone in their area, it's a game changer.
Ozone. Okay.
Ozone.
It's kind of like PRP.
No, not really. Like, it's pure, like they do.
PRP, they take it, like I just had a PRP facial. They take your blood, they spin it around and they put it back in your face.
Okay. Sort of. Yeah. And this is where they have, they take it into the IV, oxygenate it, put it back in the same day, same arm. Same kind of
thing.
But it cleans up your blood and it lowers all those bacterial, fungal, things that are going on.
It's called ozone?
Ozone. Yeah.
You should see how many things are written down here. Cleans blood.
I also like hyperbaric chambers.
Yeah, so I've done that too. And I did a show on that years and years and years ago. In fact, I thought about doing that and then the infrared sauna. I mean, like I said,
it's endless. We don't have time. I know. It's true.
All right. And you do one-on-one coachings because you were saying earlier that you would take these people and tell us about what is that?
That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing to do.
It is.
It is. I just love, because I have been through so much health-wise myself, other than what you mentioned, anxiety as well, and insomnia, and, just like all kinds of things. And I just, been able to get myself past it. And I know what it feels like to be in these situations and not feel good.
Okay, so the ozone that's for the cleaning the blood, you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's for autoimmune, for cancer, for long COVID symptoms. Yeah. It's fabulous.
Elissa, there's so many things out there. I mean, you could spend your life researching these different brands, because that's why I don't like social media sometimes, because I was just saying this, like everybody's like, pick me. Like, how do you do your research on this? Is it just do a lot
that's a great question, because I started 10 years ago, or maybe 11 or 12, but I, got lucky because there wasn't as much out there as there is today, and I just read everything. I read every book I get my hands on. I am so obsessed with health and getting people healthy and me feeling good as I age, because I never felt good most of my life until in my 50s. So I'm a little bit now obsessed because I feel so great. I also read people's blood work. I do. I'm associated with a RUPA up in San Francisco, and I can get thorough panels done of blood work, with everything you need, for $270. It's crazy. Doctors don't even do what I'm doing. And they always say to their clients, that's going to cost you a fortune. I am finding
and they're not looking for the same things that you're looking for.
Right.
That's a big difference, people. You have to listen to this. You're right. Your traditional doctor is going to run different tests than you would. They're looking for different than you're looking for. Yes.
And I worked with integrated functional GPs, naturopaths in the last 10 years, hand in hand with my clients. And I've learned so much from them, and I know what optimal blood levels should look like. So when I look at blood work, it looks within range, but I know why they're not feeling well and not having mental cognitive function. Also, I'm picking up heavy metals like crazy on people, especially in their blood. Like I do heavy metals on everybody. So hormones too, women, doctors don't test DHEA, which is a precursor for testosterone and estradiol. And our levels should be 200 and above. Everybody's are lower because their adrenals are so taxed,
I take DHEA.
Yeah. So do I. So it's kind of a lifesaver. Getting on a little bit of DHEA can really be a lifesaver for hormones,
But what would you tell people? Because I know people that they'll go, no, I'm not going to say the brand, but they'll just, and I'm like, no, some vitamins and supplements, actually, if it's depending upon the brand, can actually work in reverse because they've got fillers and this and that. So what should somebody look for just for their basic, basic supplements? What would you say that they should look for?
That's a great question too, because everything mostly out there has fillers and additives to it. And also capsules can be a little bit tricky. We barely absorb 40% when we take them, especially if our gut isn't healthy. That's also an issue. So I do like to tend towards liquids and powders.
Me too.
There is something on the market right now that I've been using, which is AG1 greens powder. It's definitely decent. I like the fact that it's a powder and you put it in water and it absorbs into your bloodstream really fast.
Mhm.
It doesn't cover all the bases, but it covers a lot of the bases. There's brands that I have been very much energetically like tied to. I'm always muscle testing my supplements, also Pure Encapsulations, Thorn, Quicksilver. There's brands that I am very, well aware of that are really high quality out there. So I wouldn't use anything that isn't high quality. And also I steer people to, I get brands sent to me as well, and I can see what's in them. And also I've checked out a lot of supplements over the years and I know what works and doesn't work. You could just, if you're in touch and you're in tune with your body, that this supplement is working for you or it isn't. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about, so your one-on-one coaching, somebody comes to you. Is that what the first thing you do? Do you give them a stool test and a blood test?
No, because a lot of times I just started doing the blood test and stool test in January, but a lot of times they'll have blood work themselves from the doctor. I work with a lot of very sick people, like autoimmune and digestive issues, and also sleep and hormones and cancer. So they are coming to me, with their blood work usually, which isn't very thorough, and they're coming to find out, what kind of foods to eat, how they should be sleeping, what they can do for their stress. And then added on, what are some supplements that you think would be beneficial for me? I do spend about 30 minutes kind of 20 to 30 minutes finding out about their life, stress,
Their
what was
lifestyle,
growing up, right? All that stuff.
Completely pinpoint what's
it's usually pretty easy for me. It's wild. I love people also too. And so I love to hear their story and find out, what's going on stress wise and sleep, and then what's gone on in their life prior to all of this health issues that are happening. And usually they tell me within an hour exactly why they're sick, why they're where they're at. I mean, they even tell me what they need. It's wild. And I'm like, look at that. You called me to ask me what you need, and you're telling me what you need. So it's pretty wild.
There's a famous, in fact, I used it the other day. I don't remember who it was, but they said, I don't know. I said, well, it was a client. I said, well, if you did know, what would it be? When you reframe that question like that, they usually have the answer. The answers are inside of you. They really are. And you know what? This is all I would say. Like, you've had cancer, I've had cancer. And I remember I never was like, oh, why me? And never went in a victim role. I remember I was sad. Because my son, 2011, what was he? 2004. He was born in 2004. So he was young still, but I was sad. But I think, I just lost my train of thought again.
I mean, going into the poor me, and victim mentality, and And did you know why you got the cancer? Did you kind of know what's going on?
Once I read his book, I'm like, I'm stressed out. Yeah, it made sense to me. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Don't think it's a death sentence. In fact, I think it was a blessing to me. I know that's going to sound really crazy, but if I'd not had that, I wouldn't have changed everything that I'm doing now. That was, that was 11. How many years ago? 14 years ago? I'm not great at math, but so I do feel like it was a blessing. And you know what? Cancer or any disease is just going, hey man, I'm out of alignment here. Help me out. It's not necessarily a death sentence. I've seen people that had 4-stage cancer, come back from strengthening themselves. And it's also your thoughts and your mind. It's
diabetes, all these illnesses. Yeah.
Exactly. So how do people get in touch with you for the one? Would they go to your website for the one-on-one?
On the web, or they can actually DM me on Instagram too. Okay. So and also fill out a form just to be able to see me on Instagram through Instagram.
And that's on your Instagram,
and website. Right? It's just elissagoodman.com. And I do a newsletter every week that I send out, and I have a recipe and a health tip that I put out every week as well. So
they can sign up for the newsletter on your Linktree and Instagram too. Yeah. Okay. And on Instagram, it's Elissa Goodman too, with 2 S's, ISSA Goodman, GOODMAN. All right. 3 takeaways, just 3 simple things for our listeners when
Yeah.
they're,
Yeah.
simple, easy, just to
Simple.
get started.
Right. Right. So I would say, people probably don't know this, but between 10 and 2 a.m. is when the body resets.
Yes.
So
I did not know
if
that
there's
till a while
any
ago.
chance that, you can go to bed a little earlier than you normally do, because it's like usually midnight, 1,
Mhm.
you're
So
like, you'd be a different person the next day, and you can't catch up that time. That is the 4 hours when the body is resetting. So if you sleep
mhm,
in till 9 or 10, it's not the same. So
mm-mm.
that's crucial with the sleep.
I'm glad you
Sleep
brought
is
that up. Yeah.
crucial. The hydration, getting minerals in your water. If you want to try, I love the Ultima Replenisher. I can't live without it. I travel with it. It's a lifesaver. And that has just been amazing for motility, making sure I go to the bathroom every day, and just calming my
No.
central nervous system, and energy and mental clarity. That's crucial. And I would say there's so many things to say, but I would say, really the veggies are really what my go-to are. I mean, juicing or soups, a
Yeah.
cup of soup a day, or just getting those vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and phytonutrients into that body. And in a smoothie, in a juice, in a soup is life-changing, because you
It
don't have to
really
digest it it easily goes into the system. So
Do
I
you know what
think
I just thought of? Have you heard of that app, Yucca? Yuka?
no.
Oh, when you get off here, you're going to go crazy.
Okay.
So you download it. It's a little carrot, just so everybody knows, it's a little carrot. And there's a scanner, and you scan the barcode of anything, and it'll rate it from 0 to 100.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
it'll say poor, and then it'll tell you why. It's got too much sugar, too much saturated. It's amazing. So if I kind of answered my own
Oh, I
question,
love that.
so I wonder if it works on vitamins. I would think it does. I've been using it on foods. I mean, you'll
Right.
start to see everybody using this app. So I think that's a great thing, too. And the vegetables.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
these soups that I got, all 4 of them were like rated 98. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's really easy to eat too. So,
Yeah.
I could talk to you all day, and I will meet you at some point. We will do a
Yes.
very long lunch, or
Yes.
spend the day doing something.
I would love
And
it.
it's such a pleasure having you on.
Yeah.
And when your book comes out, do you have any idea when your book's going to be coming out?
Next year, at least, I hope like the beginning of the year. So,
Yeah, that's 4 months away. So
yeah, not too
we'll have
long.
you on
So,
when your book comes out, and we'll
yeah.
talk about your book.
Yep. That sounds
Okay.
great. It was great meeting you, and it was fabulous having this conversation with you. So,
Me,
thank you.
I wholeheartedly agree. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you next week. Everybody have a fantastic day and rest of your week.